Hey y'all, these are canned tamales, but don't scroll just yet because in about 15 minutes, this is going to come out to be one of the easiest weeknight dinners that you've ever made, and it's going to be delicious. Not a lot of prep, and definitely no stress. I post real food for real people, so let me show you how to make this. Welcome to Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. It's time to get started on making us a delicious Mexican meal for those nights when you just really don't have time to cook, but you want something delicious. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a can of Hormel Tamales beef and chili sauce. Now this is a 15-ounce can. It's got 6 tamales in it. Now I know you're thinking canned tamales, but I'll tell you, I grew up eating these, and I've tried them in many, many Mexican restaurants. And quite honestly, I like these better than anything that I have had at an actual Mexican restaurant. So don't think that this is not going to be good. Wait until you see the finished product. So we're going to take that can, and I've already opened it. And so that's kind of what they look like inside. They're not necessarily pretty by any means, but we're going to go ahead and pour them into a skillet here. And we're just going to layer them out. Now, when they come out, they're going to have paper on them. I like to leave that paper on there until they get completely done. That just kind of helps them stay together if you're moving them around. So let's get our stove on here and we'll get these babies cooking. So our tamales are starting to come to a little bit of a boil, which is what we want. I've got it setting on about 3. I don't want to heat them too quickly. But one other thing, while you're at the store picking up your can or two of these tamales, grab you a can or two of refried beans. Now I'm using some dehydrated refried beans, so but you can use the canned ones; they'll work just fine. So I've got these dehydrated beans over here in another pot on the other side, letting those heat up. And also, while you're there at the store, grab you some of this. This is Mahatma's Chipotle Jasmine Rice. Y'all know my favorite rice is my 90-second rice. This is pretty good stuff. It's not necessarily like the Mexican restaurant, but it'll get you through and it'll do for a quick meal on a weeknight. All right, so what we want to do after these have started boiling a little bit is just flip them over, and that way they can start getting hot all the way around. And just use a spatula or a spoon or just whatever you want to use, doesn't really matter. We just want to get them flipped over so that they can heat on both sides. And remember, leave that paper on, because if you don't, they're going to fall apart on you, and you don't want them to fall apart until you get ready to put them on the plate. So that's what we're going to do with them. We're just going to let them sit there and kind of simmer. We're not in any hurry to get them fixed, because it doesn't take very long to get that part done. All right, so our tamales have been cooking in the sauce there for, it's probably been maybe 8 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe 10. So now we're going to cut those off because we don't need them. They're heated through and through. Now here's one of the tricks that I use now that it's time to get these papers off. Just use a fork and just easily get in there and kind of peel that paper back. And that paper is not going to be super hot, so you can use your fingers after that and just do each one of them. You may have to turn them over to get to that edge of the paper, but That's no big thing. Like I say, if we took the paper off to begin with, by the time we turned them and did everything that we needed to do to them, we'd have just some pieces of tamale. We wouldn't have whole tamales, and we want whole tamales. Just trying to turn that one a little bit, just about broke it into pieces. And this is a little bit of a tedious part, getting to the papers and everything, but just something you gotta do. One more to go is all we got. That one, since it was on the bottom, that paper might be just a touch bit warm, but it's not enough to burn my fingers, so we're good on that. All right, so now we got that, and we're ready to put our cheese on them. And like I say, if you got to move them around, be careful with them because they are super, super fragile. All right, so let's get our cheese on there. All right, y'all, so this is just some sharp cheddar cheese come from Walmart. It's pretty finely shredded. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take that and we're just going to sprinkle that over top of those. And they're hot enough that that cheese will start melting here in a minute. And now this is, where you can put as much or as little as you want to on there. And of course, I've always said the more cheese, the merrier. So put quite a bit on there. All right, so we're just gonna let that sit there in the pan, and that cheese will be melting here in a little bit. And once we come back, we're gonna fix our plate up and we'll give them a taste. All right, y'all. So we've got our plate finished here. We got our tamales there in the center. We got three of them. Cheese, put a little bit of the chili juice out of the tamales. Got some refried beans, got rice, tomato, lettuce, and some salsa and some Scoops corn chips. Now, if this is not a meal and a quick one for a weeknight, I'm telling you, I can't wait to taste it. So that's what we're going to do now. Is we're going to give it a taste. Truth, I got me some tamale, I got me some rice on there. I'm going to try to get me a piece of tomato on there and maybe even throw a little bit of lettuce across it. And then we're going to give it a try. So here we go. Like I say, it may not be your favorite Mexican restaurant, but for a quick 15-minute meal, it's pretty darn good. And like I say, canned tamales, they're not that bad. They taste pretty good, and you put all this other stuff with it, and you got something great. So hey, y'all remember, like, subscribe, share these with your family and friends, and we'll be back in a little few days maybe, and we'll get you another video posted. And also want to say thank you to everyone who watched our videos, especially that cornbread recipe. That it exploded. There's over 60,000 views on that cornbread recipe. Want to thank each and every one of you that watched it, and every one of you who've watched all the other videos. Y'all have a good one.